All right, the first story we got is from Timcast.com. New York City drag march participants chant, "We're coming for your children." Actually, I don't think I can show the video because they're nude. So I have to turn on the blur here.
That's cool.
And then, yeah. And then let's see if I boot it up, is it gonna blur? It's not. So let's refresh and see if it worked now. Okay, there we go. Now it's going to Okay, so they chant, "We're not going shopping" afterwards. The fact that they all know the change, like they know what this chant is, it was planned in advance. They're saying, "We're coming for your children." Here's where it gets interesting. This is, I think now I can remove the blur. This is ABC7. "We're coming for your children." Video of NYC drag march parade stirs outrage. Yo, even the corporate press is covering this. Podcaster Tim Pool shared a video of the event. I mean, technically I did. It was Timcast News, filmed by Alad Eliyahu. Several outlets, including the Daily Mail and Newsweek, have reported the videos from New York City's Pride weekend. People can be seen in the video walking through a park wearing colorful apparel, some dressed in drag and others topless, and they're chanting that they're coming for our children. At a certain point, it's not a joke. That video came out a while ago from the San Francisco Gay Men's Choir, singing, "We're coming for your children." And people were like, "Hey, that's alarming." And what did the media say? "It's a joke. They're being silly." And it's, no, they're not joking.
No, they're not.
They actually mean it. There are numerous videos going around right now that I can't show on YouTube. One of them depicts a man in tidy whities spreading his legs and cheeks in front of children and then gyrating and thrusting himself at the kids. I can't show you that video. I mean, it's hard enough to describe on a show like this. Twitter is censoring these videos. If you try to retweet it, they're getting suppressed. People aren't seeing the posts. And then the videos themselves, it says this tweet is unavailable. And this is the scary thing about censorship. I understand you want to censor this so that kids don't see it. You put a sensitive filter on it. You don't make it impossible for people to see. Because the fact that people can't see this is what's prolonging it. So when you go to someone and tell them this is what they're doing, this is what the left has been doing, they're grooming kids, they say, "Prove it." You try to find the video's gone. Because Twitter is censoring it out of a fear that advertisers will flee the platform.
No, that's exactly right. The left's, the transgender movement, the left's best argument for the past decade or so when it comes to our kids has been, it isn't happening, right? Just a straight up denial that there's anything going on with kids. And that's all started to change ever since everyone has a TikTok channel, everyone has a YouTube channel, and because these kids are bragging about it, they're bragging about getting double mastectomies, and we're seeing this stuff in our kids' schools. COVID was awesome silver lining to expose parents to what their kids are experiencing. But no, that's exactly right, Tim. We have to be able to talk about this stuff, and we can't protect. It's already out there. I mean, they're doing this on the Pride parades. The Pride parades have been out of control for at least the last decade, right? Like, this is not new. I've been to Pride parades. They always have weird, nude, crazy stuff going on. The leather, they've had the puppy guys, out there. There's always been a level of weirdness to this. And at the center of it, right? Trans rights, you have it. Like, they have special privileges now, right? Like, I'm not able to go into the streets and dance naked in a St. Patrick's Day parade.
But that's Pride in general. That's always been that way. I mean, we've talked about it. When I was a kid, you'd go to a Pride parade and they would be doing gratuitous things. They'd be naked. So more specifically, when I was a kid, my mom did not let me go outside during Pride because we had a cafe on North Halsted in Chicago. The Pride parade would come and she'd say, "Go inside and don't come outside," because of the things they were doing. When I was maybe 6-7 years ago in LA, people I knew in LA were like, "Oh yeah, when Pride comes around, they were talking about how they all got naked and would run around fully nude." And it's like, I'm like, "Isn't that illegal?" And they're like, "Nobody cares." It's like, okay, well, look, if the people in the cities don't care,
does
fine.
No one care? I mean, the thing is, maybe they haven't been vocal. Maybe they have been kind of like worried about what their neighbors would say or whatever because of the tone nowadays. But I really find it hard to believe that people don't care. I think people were afraid to say something because of the fact that they felt like they were going to be ostracized, when in reality, they probably were still the quiet majority. Most people don't want their children to be exposed to kink in the streets of a major city. And I think that the stuff with Bud Light and Dylan Mulvaney finally gave your average person the courage to stand up and say, hold on, I don't really approve of this. You know, I want to see a little more modesty in public. No one's talking about going into your bedroom and deciding who you can sleep with or can't sleep with, or at least the average person. I'm sure there are some religious people that want to get into the business of what is going on in your bedroom, but the average person that is just kind of living their life and doesn't really pay a lot of attention to politics, they don't want their kids exposed to nude men in the streets.
What about like a dude in a diaper with a dog helmet on?
You know what?
Real talk.
I bet you the average guy, the welder that welds in South Dakota, he probably wants his kids to be exposed to a guy in a diaper with a dog mask. You're probably right.
Like a guy can go shirtless in tight shorts any day of the week, walk down the street. He can put on a dog mask. He can walk down the street. But like if he puts on a strap, fake strap on it or whatever, now it's becoming sexualized.
Fake one.
Technically, or a real one. But like, I mean, how is like wearing a diaper as your only thing not sexual for an adult anyway? It's weird. I mean,
it's all sexual, and it's all kink though. That's the part of the thing is that Tim's talked about before is this isn't about actually being proud of your sexuality. It's about exhibitionism, narcissism, and kink.
Well, and I also think though that it makes sense, right? This is a movement built on pride, and that pride has now turned into hubris, to where they're pushing transgender bathing suits for little kids at Target, and they didn't think there was going to be a consequence. They what?
Those were adult bathing suits.
No. They expose that it was for little kids.
No, those were adult bathing suits.
So,
but they did have kids clothing and like onesies that said like Pride and things like that. The tuck friendly bathing suit was an adult bathing suit.
Okay, so the thing is though, regardless if Target did that, right? There's still real trans kid stuff.
Sorry, real quick. The funny thing is like that was the defense we got from the corporate press. They're like, no. That section where they're selling the kids clothing that has all the stuff on it. The bathings for tucking was for the adults in the same section. And it's like, okay.
I'm glad you brought up hubris, man. Pride is on my mind a lot. And like how it's a Catholic sin, but an American virtue. And I think this whole "we're coming for you" rhetoric is hubristic. Like, who do you think you are to coexist with me and threaten that you're going to come for my children?
It's a celebration of a conquered religion. Every year when Pride goes out and when they are out there in the street celebrating, they're celebrating they're celebrating their victory over Christianity. And I'm an agnostic. I'm not the guy that's going to sit there and say
it's a little too explicit for me.
You think?
I don't think it's over Christianity. I think it's just we refer to wokeness as a non-theistic religion, but it's amorphous. It is boundaryless, borderless. It's more of a celebration of likeness. These are people who are going out and being like, we have a social group. That's all they're saying. There's no logic, there's no rules, there's no morals. As long as you agree to adhere to the group, you're good. If you deviate in any way, you're bad. They're not celebrating a deity, they're not celebrating an ideology. They're celebrating an amalgam of various social theories and aspects mashed together, which often contradict each other.
I don't disagree with you in that point, but I do think that they're celebrating a victory over what is considered normal, or what has been considered normal.
Absolutely. But Christianity, look, if you go to these events, they'll tell you they don't like Christianity, but they couldn't tell you anything about it. And it's not on their minds.
Yeah, it's the Christianity that Jon Stewart told them was out there, and because that's where they get there.
They're not going out there because of Christianity. They don't like it. But they do like Islam. Seriously. Like, not all of them, but a lot of them do.
Until they find out how Islam feels about them.
Nope. They still like it.
No, they'll move on. Just like they will move on. The dialectic will continue, because as soon as Islam becomes the conservative in their eyes, then they will move on. Just like they do to gay men. How gay men aren't. You're not queer enough if you're a gay white male. Like, you're not queer enough, and you get left behind. That's what happened to people like Milo and
but
Brendan. I think Brendan Strick is gay, man, and people like
it's been years since we've seen Muslims protesting LGBTQ stuff, and they're still very much like, oh, it's fine. It is starting to change, though. There was up in Michigan, that suburb.
Dearborn.
Yeah.
It wasn't in Dearborn. It was a town near Detroit, not necessarily Dearborn, but probably close enough suburb, where they said no pride flags on public display. And they said, because we don't put anyone's flags on public display. We only do the American flag or the flags of nations. And then they got mad about it. I saw in the UK, government buildings are flying the Progress Pride flag. In the US, this is a flag. It's a symbol of a global, it's a global takeover. It is a non-theistic religion. It is a global cult. The fact that foreign countries are flying this flag says a lot. The fact that U.S. embassies fly the flag says a lot. It is creepy, and it should not be allowed. So, I don't know if we'll get anyone in Congress to be like, hey, you can't fly flags like this, on government buildings. But they're doing it anyway. I can't speak for these other countries, but it is creepy. And I wonder, when I see that, I'm like, is that the flag of like the one world government? You know what I mean? Like, not literally in the sense of a one world government, but is that the flag of the cross borders internationalist ethos?
It's at least the flag for the activists that will get us to a one world government, right? Like they'll have something else more generic that appeals to more people. But I like that idea of passing laws that say that in government buildings you can only fly government flags, right? Like the American. Why is it, like, what is their argument against the American flag being the flag that
they hate America?
I understand that, but like if you're on TV, right? So like the professionals, what do they say? Because the American flag really does represent everyone, gay, straight, trans, whatever, whether you like it or not, it represents America. So like, why don't they just fly the American flag? Like if I was
because
an LGBT,
they hate liberalism.
Yeah, they hate liberalism. They hate America.
It repulses them.
Yes,
but I wouldn't want to baptize
that's why they
that
steal
flag,
and burn the flag. And here's the crazy thing too. There was a video I saw out of France where during their Pride March, someone climbed up to a second floor balcony and ripped down the French flag. It's not just America. It is all these countries having some kind of weird shared internet cult. And they're bubbling up in a bunch of different countries.
The patriarchy. They want to smash the patriarchy.
Sure.
The white privilege, I think, is what it stands for.
They are the patriarchy times 10.
Like, remember that?
Literally, wokeness is hardcore patriarchy.
Yeah.
Like the advocacy against the rights of women is
it's crazy. It's racist too. It splits up little kids and tells them their skin color means something, and like people become racist, and they're like, so counterproductive. It's wild that humans think that this is something.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.